I remember the first time I met you, you dropped off some flowers
Mhm.
and I gave you a studio tour. And I was just asking you, how do you do it all? How do you decompress after a big wedding?
People are shocked to hear that still I'm completely exhausted after an event. I was a competitive judo player growing up. The day after an event feels the way the day after a judo
Wow.
tournament used to feel, and I was, like, fighting people doing
That
that.
is interesting.
Honestly, I mean, I'm so fortunate that the day after our clients are sending us thank you texts and how happy they are. When I left teaching, I was worried that I wouldn't be able to find meaning in this work, but it was weddings that really turned it around for me, knowing that we're there to help a memory that will last for a lifetime for them be so special. The customer service is the thing I'm the most passionate about. Seeing the clients happy, seeing their happiness the next day, hearing their gratitude, knowing that they'll have this cherished experience of their life forever. That's what really keeps me going.
Hi, my name is Andrea, and besides of being recently married, I own the leading company in bouquet preservation in the world. It is when connecting with my clients that I felt the need to serve them and help them navigate this new and exciting journey. On this podcast, we bring you everything you need to know to plan the wedding of your dreams. We'll be featuring conversations with top wedding vendors and valuable tips and advice from real couples. Whether you're engaged or simply love, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's get started on this journey to your perfect wedding day. Welcome to the club, to Bridal Club.
Welcome back to a new episode of Bridal Club. I have Meredith here with Significant Events of Texas, and we've been actually working together for a couple of years now,
Mhm.
and it's been so amazing to see you grow and do a lot of different things. I am so
Thank
happy
you.
that you're here.
You too. I mean, I really brag about you all the time. I tell people we have like the top floral preservationists in the entire world here in Dallas, and we're so lucky. I love to see the stuff that you guys make. It's like bringing the wedding to life for them all over again. So
Thank you.
you're
And for
welcome.
us, it really means a lot to be able to preserve a little bit of what you created for these brides because you work for them or with them for months and months and
Mhm.
months, if not years at a time.
Thank you.
So, why don't you tell our audience who you are and your journey?
Well, I've had my business now for 18 years, so very long time. I did not have a background in events. Like, I feel like this is what I've been doing now for my whole adult life, it feels like, but I actually used to be a high school English teacher, so that's what I went to school for. Did not really have intentions of becoming an event professional. I had done some events in college. I worked for my college's admissions university, and I was the coach of an intramural sports team, so I ran tournaments. And then I loved being a teacher, but I was hoping to have something I could do differently whenever my husband and I decided to start a family. It's so cliche, but I planned my own wedding in 2004. This was before Pinterest and Instagram, so it was when weddings were much smaller to do. But I enjoyed the process of planning my own wedding, and I had been thinking about what am I gonna do once we have kids? I would like to be able to be home with them, have a more flexible schedule than being a teacher. Once I planned my own wedding and I enjoyed it, I was like, "This might be the thing that I could do." I enjoyed the process. I liked, just like teaching, how it used both sides of my brain. I like how I got to be, like, super organized and creative, the same things that had made me a really good teacher. So I went for it. I was still teaching when I started. I was teaching here for Louisville ISD. Still did not intend for it to be a full blown business. I thought it would just be like a little side business. So I went full time after doing like 5 events. That's all I had done. And my son, my oldest of my 2 children, who now is 1 year away from going to college,
Wow.
was born a few months later. And then my husband's job, this is the year of the recession. So this is 2008, and my husband kept his job, but he was a corporate recruiter at the time. But everybody stopped hiring third-party recruiters and event people. So now all of a sudden, I thought I was gonna be kinda living off of his income,
Right.
and it went into the toilet. So I really had to hustle, and that's really when I started doing weddings. I really didn't know what type of events I would do. I enjoy doing all different kinds. I didn't know that we would end up doing as many weddings as we do now. It's about 70% of the business. But at the time, corporate events weren't happening. That it
Of
was
course.
viewed as like ostentatious. So even though, unlike COVID, they could still do events, they were like, oh, no, no, it looks bad for us to do this. So for like 2 years, I barely did any corporate events, but I started doing weddings. And the ball just kept rolling and rolling, and I had another child, and by the time they were old enough to go back to school, I thought originally thought I'd go back to teaching. But by that point, the business was successful and I could make my own schedule. So I never went back and
Yeah.
just let it continue to grow. And it has.
I love that you say a flexible schedule.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're so busy.
I work.
You're like, I feel like you don't even have free time at all.
Oh my God. I don't have much free time. I definitely work too much. It's something I'm working on myself all the time. I will say, although I am very busy, I truly do feel like for women out there and men that are wanting to be home with their children, it has been a blessing to be able to create my own schedule now. It became a weird schedule. I started working a lot at night when my kids were little. They're only 20 months apart when like I'd get the babies to bed. So it created a different schedule than a normal 9 to 5. But, I was able and have been able to be home when they get home from school every day, still attend. Granted, I can't go to everything on the weekends, but I can still go to a lot. And I was still very busy, but because I could decide when I would do meetings because I'm my own boss and decide when I would do networking and whatnot, I could work it around my kids' schedule. Now they're like driving and stuff. So.
Yeah.
It's much easier, and my daughter even like helps me with weddings now.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
She does not want to be a wedding planner.
Yeah,
No,
after saying
she has seen me do this, but
Yeah.
she's great. She would be a great wedding planner actually,
Yeah,
but
that's awesome.
yeah.
So I just wanted the audience to understand how many weddings you do per year.
Yeah. So my company it's myself as the lead planner, and then I have 5 other wedding and event planners that are on my staff. 2 of whom are pretty much full-time, and then 3 of whom do this on the side with another full-time job. So as a company, it varies year to year, but I would say for about the last 10 years, we do about anywhere from like 60 to 100 events a year total as a company, and probably weddings are about 70% of that. So I feel like on average, we typically do 45 to 65 weddings a year. We do full service coordination, partial planning, and day of coordination. So that's one of the reasons too we're able to do so many, because we have different packages, different price points based on our years of experience. I primarily just do full service and partial planning these days. Most of the day ofs go to our junior planners. We do a lot of work with a lot of different cultures too. So we do a lot of South Asian weddings, particularly those stand out, but all different cultures. And so I feel it's an interesting approach. I think not everybody likes the idea of doing a lot of quantity. I do feel we've been able to master quantity and quality, and it's a
Yes.
hard thing to do. Thank you. I've liked staying busy. I like having a lot all the time. I definitely have learned to balance it better over the years. And as I get older, I have to keep scaling back.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, you did not jump from 5 weddings to 100 weddings.
No.
Like, that is just
It
not
was gradually, and I
Correct.
tell people that I have an active internship program, and I have young women who intern with me, and a few men too, who then go on to start their own business. And I speak around the country too, and I tell people it's not going to happen overnight.
Yes.
It took me 5 years to make what I made as a teacher, and that was not
Wow.
very much. So I never thought this would be a career. It has been a gradual, organic growth over the years.
Yeah.
It was not from 5 to 100.
Correct.
Like every year it's grown a little, or sometimes it's the same and a little
And
bit
knowing
less.
you would never sacrifice the quality just for
No.
quantity. Like
No.
knowing you is like, I mean, your weddings are honestly stunning. So.
Thank you. I did in the early years. I mean, I had times where I was doing way too much. I would do, it sounds crazy to say now, a Friday wedding and then a Saturday wedding for another client and a Sunday wedding for another client. I look back, I can't even believe I even did that to myself. And the quality of the weddings was good. The quality of my life was not good.
Right.
And I was just running myself into the ground. So I learned much better balance with that. And I have staff that helps and assists. I have a business manager / assistant who's amazing that helps us balance all of the work. And we have an internship program. There are certain price points we want to be at to make sure that the quality is still, what we mesh well with. But I feel you're able to do both. Many vendors are able to do quantity and quality at the same time. So.
For sure.
Mhm.
So there's a couple of things that I want to touch base on. I remember the first time I met you, you dropped off some flowers and I gave you a studio tour. And I was just asking you, how do you do it all? How do you decompress after a big wedding? Because whenever I go to an event, I feel like I can be in between an extrovert and an introvert. And so now that I'm on the WIPA board, whenever we create an event and I'm a part of it and I have to be there like before, during, and after, I swear I have a headache that day. And then the second day, even like before the event, I'm just like preparing myself mentally. So how do you decompress?
It's hard for sure. I definitely I have to give myself the day after an event. And I've learned I'm still good so far at age 46. I was 28 when I started this. I'm still good with just one day off afterwards. So I'm okay. But I definitely have learned, and didn't always do this years ago, to take time for myself the next day. No meetings, no talking to clients, actually just spend time with my family, relax, rest, do something fun, but it's hard. People are shocked to hear that still I'm completely exhausted after an event. I was a competitive judo player growing up. I did judo for 30 years. Fun fact about me. And the day after an event feels the way the day after a judo
Wow.
tournament used to feel. And I was like fighting people doing
That
that.
is interesting.
Just your whole body is exhausted. I also too, it's kind of embarrassing thing, but sometimes from the adrenaline crash that comes, I will cry a lot the next day, even when everything was perfect, just from exhaustion and from my emotions also being tired. But I've just learned that from physical exhaustion, it'll make me more emotional. I also in recent years have gone and done like a lot of like stretch therapy the day after an event. And that has been super helpful for like my physical recovery. Honestly, I mean, I'm so fortunate that the day after almost all of our events, our clients are sending us thank you texts and how happy they are. And I love seeing them share all their photos from the day and the photos we posted. So you definitely get a lot of positive, serotonin that day to combat the crying. To help just with, when I left teaching, I was worried that I wouldn't be able to find meaning in this work because, as a teacher, you feel, you're doing this great thing for humanity and teaching children, and it's this like thankless, low paying job. But it was weddings that really turned it around for me, because knowing that we're there to help a memory that will last for a lifetime for them be so special. The customer service is the thing I'm the most passionate about. I love the flowers. I love the design. I do.
Yeah.
But like seeing the clients happy, seeing their happiness the next day, hearing their gratitude, knowing that they'll have this cherished experience of their life forever. That's what really keeps me going all these years.
I mean, obviously, as a bride that just got married a year and a half ago, I really genuinely adore Macy for making me feel so special that day. It's a memory that I'm going to have for a lifetime.
It's a good feeling for sure. So
Yeah. Well, thank you for being so raw, because I mean, no, truly. I mean, it's one of those things like people don't necessarily understand what goes in the lives of entrepreneurs, or in your case, being a planner, because you're obviously, as we discussed, you're planning for a whole year. And then do you even sleep the day before?
Oh, I sleep fine the day
You
before.
really
Actually.
do?
Yeah, I actually have no trouble sleeping because I'm so tired all the time. No, I don't get that nervous anymore. I will say, I've heard people say before that are really experienced, which I would say that I am in all fields, that it's like a healthy nervousness. I would say I have that. I'll feel like not anxious, but just like, I know there's this one thing that's going to be really tough and we just need to get through it. Or I'm, we've worked so hard on the design. I just don't want to see anything fail. But especially when we get to help recommend all the vendors, I have so much confidence in the people we recommend on a regular basis. It gives me the ability to relax because I know I'm in great hands with my florist and my band and my venue. It not always the case. Sometimes we have vendors that are just brought to us, and then I'm usually a little more nervous. But building a team is so important, and it helps you feel that not only do you expect the work to be good, but you also know that if there's a problem, these people, they love you, they're your friends, they care about future business from us, and they will work together to make it happen. I was just at a wedding a couple weeks ago, and we were bringing the food to some appetizers to the bride and groom while they were waiting to like go into the ballroom. And I had my assistant bring them, and she accidentally put them in the wrong room. So I go to the bride and groom, and they're just sitting there, no food. And I was like, oh no. So I go, and they were actually got put in the band room on accident. So we find them, and I'm like scrambling, trying to grab them. And the band members, the photographer, they were all in there eating. They all just hopped up and grabbed food and like helped me take it in. And because they just know we're a team. And if there's a problem, we're all in it together. So I know I like teared up when that happened. I was like, thanks guys.
Well, yeah, of course we're going to have your back. And it's kind of like what I told you too. I just want you to know that it will always, of course we take care of every single bride that comes our way, But when it comes to your brides, like, I mean, trust me, we're going to take care of them. Like,
Thank you.
there's
I
no
know that
questions
you will.
asked.
And we work really hard to make sure that they know all the parameters with the flowers and all the expectations for the flowers too. I know, especially, gosh, after I came here and did the tour, I could see, my God, how much work goes into this. It's insane, Andrea. Like, I don't know how
Thank
you do this. So ever since I'm like, I've encouraged, like, for example, when I know the bride's going to preserve the boutonniere, I typically tell the groom to get two because
Wow,
I don't know if
thank
you know that.
you.
That's a suggestion I would make
Yeah.
to other planners.
Yes, like we definitely do say that to
Yeah.
people
So
too.
what I typically do now, because I know a lot of brides are preserving that when he wears it for first look, he wears it for ceremony, he wears it for post ceremony portraits. So it was in the ceremony. Then I take it off him. So that was the boutonniere he wore to get married. That's the one that you get. But then I have a second one for him to wear for the rest of the reception. Because when they're partying, it gets all destroyed. So I've really want to just keep the flowers as pristine as possible. I like for us to be able to bring them to you actually, because I'm always worried that they'll get messed up.
And again, this is how we met. And every time that you bring flowers, they're perfect. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Thank you. I saw Rachel, one of my planners, that brought the bouquet from Mexico. I didn't even realize she was doing that.
Yeah.
And I saw you post about that. I said, what did you do? How did you bring it back? And
you can. It's a little bit tricky with customs.
she said she just
Flowers
followed all the
and
parameters you gave her, and it looked great. When I saw you post, I was like, oh, it looks so good.
I know it looked great. So tell me more about you said that you do a day off and then you do a month off. And then you also do like full service. Can you, for those who may not know what the difference is, can you tell me more about that?
Yeah. So full service, I feel like pretty much everyone understands. It's kind of like your top to bottom. I kind of compare it to a general contractor building a house. We are the liaison over all of the vendors. We manage all the back and forth. We manage all of the referrals. We personally go to every single meeting with full service clients. We handle all of the contract negotiation, all of it. We're the liaison for the client. Then we have two other packages, partial planning and what we call day of coordination. Some would call it month of. I really just refer to it as our smallest offering, so to speak. We use the term day of because it's like an industry term. We do it. I can't speak to every planner. Every planner at different companies does these packages differently. Our partial planning, it's a great package. It's a hybrid in between full service kind of and day of. It's for clients who would love to have full service, but it's not in the budget. Or just don't want a planner handling everything. So we still do a few meetings in person with them, not unlimited. We still give them vendor referrals, which is key. We still walk them through the process, but they are the ones that do all their meetings with the vendors. We give them guidance and questions to ask and things like that. We still review all of their contracts and proposals, but they have to go and get them. So they're kind of the ones that are the liaison between the vendors during planning. We recommend, we check everything from the background, but it's less of our time directly interfacing with the vendors and less in-person meetings.
Yeah, and I really wish that people knew how valuable the vendor referral is.
Oh my God. It's one of the reasons that our day of pricing and our pricing partial is almost twice the price of day of. And I say the vendor referrals is the huge difference that you're paying for. And we don't require clients to only use our vendors. We're happy to meet a new vendor. We just ask that we can vet them, check with other planners for references, that kind of thing. So, but partial is great. It's a great kind of hybrid package. And then what we call day of, month of, we do it a little differently. I know most people that offer that will just say, can't start working with us till like 4 to 6 weeks before the wedding. Maybe because I have so many planners on staff, we do it where you can start working with us immediately. But there's no vendor referrals in this package, and you only get one in-person meeting. So most of the time, our day of brides have already planned the majority of their wedding, and they're just kind of handing it off to us. But we let them hand it off immediately. Maybe that's by having the luxury of multiple planners on staff, I can do that. But the way that I see it, and I know I can understand why planners don't do it this way, is I would hate, because a lot of times when we're looking through all their stuff, we find a lot of mistakes that they've made. I would feel terrible at 4 weeks before their wedding saying, you have like $5,000 worth of stuff you haven't included. You don't have ceremony audio. You don't have any pin spots for your flowers. You don't have a bus to take the wedding party from the hotel to the church to the reception. These are easy things for a bride to not know to do. These aren't things that are in all the magazines and on Instagram, but these are the logistics that make a difference. To come at the end of the process, look over a bride's paperwork and say, you have many holes here, is a terrible feeling. They are at the end of their budget. they're at the end of their planning, and to have to come in and say, I hate to tell you this, but there's a lot that's missing. And it sometimes happens. We'll get hired by brides 2 months before the wedding, and we have to just be the bearer of bad news. We prefer to start with them immediately, guide them the whole
That
time,
makes sense.
but it's less of our time. It's not the vendor referrals, and it's not, less meetings. So that has worked great for us. I feel like we do day of better than anybody because we come into it so well prepared because of allowing that,
I love that. And with your experience, you're basically check marking like, okay, this has not aligned, you're
Yes.
missing this and that. And I love
All's
that you have
working.
different offerings because then
Mhm.
you can really talk to people who have all kinds of different budgets as well.
Yeah, totally. We tend to hit, we tend to hit the majority of the market here. We tend to do most of our events as a whole, weddings, corporate, whatever, are kind of middle market, maybe like middle upper in budgets. So that's the bulk of the business. We do a handful of like ultra luxury weddings every year and a handful of really tight budget weddings that really can just afford like our lowest priced day of planner. But you know what? Those brides, I love to see it. I remember last year we had a great example weekend of this where we had two of myself and another planner had two huge full service weddings, massive amount of floral, just incredible, so gorgeous, two of the best weddings we've ever done. And, both brides were, this was the most beautiful, amazing day of our lives. And then one of my other planners had a very tight budget, candles and greenery and very simple, but it was exactly what they wanted. And that bride also said this was the most beautiful day of her life.
Well, okay, so if every single wedding were the same,
Yeah.
it's not special for anybody.
It isn't. And
Yeah.
you come into it realistically knowing, I think, hopefully, this is what I can afford and I'm going to do the best I can. And we're here to show you if all you can do is candles, we're going to make it beautiful
Yeah.
with candles. And
Yeah.
at a minimum, we're going to treat you with great customer service and we're going to make sure you have great
love that.
logistics. We're going to take care of your vendors. And those brides have the same type of experience in their hearts as the ones that had the huge budgets. It's just all perspective
Yeah.
and what your expectations are. If you're
Yeah.
not expecting the huge luxury wedding, you're so happy when the tight budget wedding goes well.
Right.
you
Right.
know?
And again, it's like the customer experience that your team is able
Yes.
to provide, regardless of how they're hiring or what
Yes.
package they're hiring.
Yes, that's truly the thing I'm the most passionate about. I like to say we're a customer service company that does events, and taking care of the clients and taking care of our vendor partners is the things that are the top two most important things to me. The number one topic I speak on around the country is building better relationships with vendors.
Okay.
So I try to teach planners how to work better with their vendors. What are the behaviors they're doing that are like destroying these relationships, and vice versa? Like, vendors, what are you doing that are just driving us crazy,
Wow.
And it's been a super popular topic because people want to have a good relationship in this regard, but
Yeah.
not everybody knows how to do it. And a lot of people, when they run their own business, get really stuck in their own ego and are unwilling to work as a team.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Especially as you continue to grow, and you're so down to earth. So thank you for that.
Thanks.
In fact, I think I mentioned earlier, like we have gained a lot of momentum with vendors as well. Do
Yeah.
you mind telling us a little bit more about just what you said?
Mhm.
Like basically the relationship between planners and vendors and how to not burn bridges and so on.
Sure. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's so many things, but I would say number one, obviously, is just mutual respect and communication. It seems so obvious, but you would be amazed still to this day, as much experience as I have, as much as I go out of my way to treat everyone with fairness and respect, vendors that are running super late and you call them out on it and they're so rude about it. Like, I'll get there when I'll get there. And you're like, well, you're supposed to communicate this to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's the professional thing to do. So that's just one example, talking to each other with respect, working as a team, not feeling like your role is the most important role of the day. Technically, my role is, right? Because I'm the manager of this entire thing. I never act that way. I act like we are all part of a team working
Yeah.
together. I treat the guy coming off the truck loading the chairs in with as much respect as I treat the band leader and the florist and everyone. It really frustrates me when a vendor is sucking all the energy out of the room by like acting like everyone else has to work around them or comes in with a super negative attitude.
Mm.
I'm not naturally like a glass half full person. I'm a very like glass has this much water in it realistic person. And I'm not naturally like a super optimistic person. I'm probably more pessimistic than anything.
Realistic.
But on event days, I am really big on good positive energy. Like
Yeah.
when you have a vendor that's just griping and complaining, it's too hot, it's too this, like, you are dragging the entire experience down.
Yes.
And there's nothing better when you have a team that you love and we're making this amazing day happen. I think a lot of people get their feelings really hurt, and rightly so, when they are not included or tagged in social media posts,
Mm.
when they're not credited. We all work super hard. I think it's super crappy when a planner takes credit for the entire event and doesn't credit the vendors. I am a manager of events. I'm not a florist. I'm not a caterer.
Right.
I'm not a DJ. We are nothing without our team to build us up. So I really lecture planners about that kind of behavior because I hear vendors get upset. We did all this. They didn't even mention us. They
Yeah.
couldn't even tag us. So that's a huge part of it. I think making time and space for everybody and making sure that you're communicating. I hear all the time vendors say certain planners don't send timelines. I hear this all around the country. I'm like,
Oh
my
my
God,
gosh.
it's like Planner 101. I don't, that's like a chef saying I don't cook dinner. I don't
Yeah.
understand this idea of not sending a timeline. So I stress the importance of it and sending it in a timely fashion and making sure you get your feedback on it, that kind of thing. So it's not just vendors causing a problem too. So mostly communication, respect, and just respecting each other's time and space and efforts is
Yeah.
kind of the nutshell summary of that.
Perfect. You've done a lot of speaking. Where
Mhm.
can people hear you? For
Thank
stuff
you.
like that?
Yeah, so I've spoken on several podcasts, have links on my website. I have a speaking tab. I speak at various programs around the country, MPI, NACE, ILEA, just different cities will bring me in. I've spoken at various conferences. The one I speak at probably the most is the special event, but I've spoken at the NACE National Conference. ILEA used to have a conference they did that I've spoken at. So I usually just do a few speaking gigs a year. I would speak once a month if it was up to me.
Yeah.
It's like being a teacher again.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I
right.
like it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Fulfilling your heart.
And I
in
make
different
videos
ways.
too. I make like educational videos that I don't know, barely anyone watches them, I think, but they're all on my
I do.
Instagram.
I can't remember which one it was.
Thank
Oh
you.
my gosh. I like commented on it and it's gonna come to me
It's
eventually.
fine.
But it was like, this is something that the room blocking.
Yeah, that was the last one I made. I
Yeah,
need to
the
make
room
another
blocking.
one.
I'm like, I don't think a lot of people know what room
Mhm.
blocking. I didn't even know. I
Yeah.
know now because of Whippa. Can you super shortly tell our audience what that is? And
Well, the last one I made was on room blocks and just kind of educating people on like the difference between a courtesy block and a contracted block at a hotel, telling clients especially what the expectations should be of a hotel, what they're actually going to do with your welcome bags, how much of a say do you have with where you get to be placed on the day of, how many rooms do you actually have to book to get an amenity. So we have a ton of experience with that. So I was just trying to educate everybody because there's so many misconceptions about what goes into booking a hotel room block. So.
right.
Mhm.
Again, if you hire Meredith, she'll do everything for
explain
you.
it
So
all.
you don't really have to do much.
Yeah.
What is your Instagram so people can follow you?
So my company is Significant Events of Texas, and that's the name of my Instagram too. It's also my personal Instagram. I probably should have separated those years ago, but I didn't. So
I actually love the fact that you don't because
Thanks.
we get to see you as a human,
Thank
you know,
you.
which is so important, especially these days. That's what people want
Yeah.
to see behind the scenes, human.
Mhm.
And also, I love that you share all your weddings on your Facebook too.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
love that.
I've never stopped doing that. I know, don't get me wrong, I am definitely of the mindset that Facebook is like not the place for business as much as it used to be, but it's the place where the moms are, and it's the place where the moms and their friends are looking at things. And this is who's hiring us a lot of the time. So has continued to, I just today met with a client that said they saw us off of Facebook. But Instagram and Facebook, I mean, I definitely don't have the following that a lot of other people do. And I don't have a content creator. I'm sure they'll have to add that someday, but I just try to always show what we're doing all the time.
I love that. And then
Thank you.
also do a lot of designing when it comes to the full
Yes.
service. Can you tell us more about that? As well?
Yeah, I do so many different styles of weddings, not just different cultures. It's very important to me that every wedding be a true reflection of the client. I know a lot of people say that, but I always said, I never wanted you to like open a magazine or click on an Instagram page and instantly know that was a significant events wedding because it looks like all the other ones.
Okay.
The common thread with all of our weddings, in my opinion, is that they look lovely and they're well organized and we take great care of the clients. But it's incredibly important to me that the design reflects the clients. I love to add any kind of personalization that we can reflective of the clients, whether it's in the food. We do invitations as well. So that's like a first stop for us to be able to design a component of their day. I really try to show them what they don't know. You'll have a client that wants maybe something a little more out of the box, and they think this is what they want, and you can show them this is how we can bring this into reality, or this is how we can make this even better. So a lot of times it's not so much that I'm building a completely original design, and many people do. I like to really listen to their ideas and really listen and watch their body language and see how they're reacting, and take those ideas and show them how to build and make it like beyond what they could have even envisioned. So for me, it starts with the clients, their inspiration, their vision, their budget, their location, and then show them like really how to maximize every dollar. Because we do work with a lot of clients that are wanting a beautiful day, but are conscious of cost. I'm always looking for ways to repurpose things, ways to make the most out of every dollar. I really teach them I say, these are the things that are like must haves and these are the nice to haves. I know the things that really make a difference in a day. And those are the things I really encourage them to put their money towards. And sometimes they'll want to do things. I'm like, I know you want to get this, but like, you really need the money for this. And this is going to be more impactful and more memorable for you in the end. So
It's crazy how it really does go back to teaching, like how you're so
so
good at
much teaching.
explaining.
Yes.
Wow.
I know. And I didn't know that when I went into it. I mean, there's so much educating because when you think about it, I mean, everyone we work with in the wedding space has never, not no one, but very few people have done this before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a one-time thing. And, they kind of think they know what to do because they've been in weddings or, they've looked online. But this is like, and I tell that to clients. I try to never forget this is the one time I'm going to plan an event for them. I'm never going to be like, you should just trust me. We've done over 500 events. Never done one for them though,
I love that.
So I really try to remind myself of that all the time and remember that every time this is a one-shot deal for them.
Yeah.
So I try to make sure that we always approach it with that level of care. And I always tell my clients too, when they're like, gosh, I didn't know anything about hotel room blocks. I feel dumb. I'm like, I would have no idea what to do at your job. Like I run a successful business. You're an accountant.
Yeah.
I kind of know how to do my taxes, like barely, legitimately barely know how to do my taxes. So, I'm an expert at this. That doesn't make me an expert at your job. And that's why you hired me.
Yeah. As I mentioned, I started the podcast when I was sharing vendors for my wedding. And one that never occurred to me was the lighting, like how important lighting is.
So important.
I know. I had no idea. I was like, what are we paying for lighting?
I know. Lighting is probably the number one decor thing I educate people on because it's hard to understand for the layperson. It's not something good lighting, you shouldn't even realize that you're looking at it, right? You walk into a room and you don't notice the lighting because the flowers are illuminated perfectly. The room has a beautiful glow, but not something that's like, whoa, this is like a fuchsia room or something. So good lighting is a accent that shouldn't be super noticeable, but man, when you don't have it, you really notice it. So I do a lot of showing clients with and without, like pin spots. This is what the room looks like with and without a stage wash on your altar.
Yeah.
So those pictures are super helpful. It's always an expense they were not really thinking about till they hire someone, but it's super important.
I agree. And I just cannot imagine after listening to so many vendors talk specifically about what they do, not hiring a planner.
It's true. I know. I do understand, like, I totally respect, again, it's why we have day of coordination. I can totally respect people that want to go in on their own. There are a lot of resources out there that can help you, but it is incredibly difficult not to really mess something up as a person who's never done this before.
Plus, if you were the bride and the groom, you want to enjoy your wedding.
Yes. And the parents, over the years, as weddings have gotten more and more expensive, the parents have been more and more involved. And I definitely think nowadays, like, it's rare for me not to have a parent making a big financial contribution to the wedding. I also want them to enjoy it. I don't want them to worry about hosting. I want them to enjoy with their friends.
How many weddings would you say you've done so far?
The company has done about 600 events, and I would say probably about 400 of those are weddings. So
that's
a lot.
That's a lot.
I'm very proud of it.
You should definitely.
You too. I am very proud of it. I am very proud to know people like you, especially women, because I'm all about helping women to grow, to create something like this. And I know how crazy it is when it starts growing. It's hard to rein it in.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Is there one specific event that comes back to you because it was your favorite or something that is so memorable?
I truly, it's like me I'm such a huge music fan. I can never say who's my favorite band or something, like my favorite book. I couldn't pinpoint a favorite. One that stands out because it got a lot of attention. And I did a wedding several years ago in Arches National Park. I did a wedding in in the national park in Moab, Utah, under like the famous double arch. And then we took everyone and like they got like a river cruise down the river with a guide for cocktail hour, and then they got to overlook the park for dinner, and then we did glamping for the evening. I remember driving out of the park that night from the ceremony to the reception. And I know I admit that I, cry after events, but I teared up like with happiness driving out of the park thinking, what an amazing experience I just got to have that I never in a million years would have thought that I would be able to do. And it got a lot of press in like Utah. And there was one article that was like, the wedding was where? That was the title of it. I wouldn't say it was my favorite, but it was just like this totally incredible experience that was loosely related to weddings and became so part of this client's experience. And it was like such an amazing experience for me too. So
I love how passionate you are, by the way.
oh, thanks.
Yeah. But don't ever lose that. I know
Thank
you've been
you.
so many years and you haven't.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
that's awesome. How can people find you and connect with you?
Yes, my website is significanteventsofTexas.com. I know it's a long name, but that's the website. And then we're on Instagram, same handle, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of that. Yeah, and we try to be fast to respond. So
Awesome.
we're
Well,
available.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Thanks for having me.
Learn about all things wedding straight from the experts. Be sure to like and subscribe to Bridal Club.